We have Tick, whose star powers does not matter, and I actually tried Tick's last hurrah gadget, but it doesn't actually help Tick stay alive long enough for him to deal more damage. So the best option for Tick is to use his super to tank a bit for him, and then use his Mine Mania gadget to land 6 mines on the turret. For some reason it took a little bit of time for the attack to explode, but Tick was able to deal 4,480 damage, which places him in 47. Now I tried every gadget and star power combination with Carl, and what performed best was his heat ejector gadget for a bit of extra damage and his protective pirouette star power to help keep him alive while Carl supers his way to the Ike turret. In total, he's able to deal 5,400 damage and takes 39th place. Now the last time I did the Siege Olympics, Shelly took dead last. Thanks to her Band-Aid star power and her fast forward gadget, she can get close enough to the turret that she can actually unload a full super right before she dies. And she can deal 6,552 damage and takes 28th place out of the 49 brawlers. Currently in the game. Next we have Spike. Now I tried making either of Spike's gadgets work, but Spike doesn't last long enough to utilize either of them. I also tried both star powers and found that Curveball helps Spike deal slightly more damage to the turret. If Spike uses 1 ammo just as he enters the turret's range, he's able to use his super and 3 ammo to deal 6,720 damage, which places him in 20th place. Next is Colt, who uses his Silver Bullet gadget for extra damage, since Colt doesn't stay alive long enough to use his Speed Loader gadget. His Magnum Special star power allows him to hit the turret with his super as soon as he enters turret range. And in total, Colt can deal 7,392 damage to the turret before dying and takes 25th place. Now thanks to Rosa's shield, she is able to get close enough to the turret to unload 3 full attacks before dying. Rosa actually takes 5% more health off of the turret by using her Thorny Glove star power, which means it doesn't matter which gadget you use. She ends up taking 24th place by dealing 7,556 damage. Gadget adds an additional 1,000 damage with her first attack. But before that, she supers onto the turret, and thanks to her Mass Tack star power, she gets shielded just enough that she can unload 3 attacks. She takes out 24% of the turret's health by dealing 8,400 damage and takes 22nd place. Now with place. Barley's up next, and his Herbal Tonic gadget allows Barley to tank 1 additional shot. Now, I use his extra noxious star power for additional damage. I tried medical use, but it doesn't actually keep Barley alive long enough for him to reload an additional ammo. In total, Barley's able to deal 8,528 damage, which is impressive considering the fact that he has so little. Next is Rico with his super bouncy star power for just a little extra damage. I used his bouncy castle gadget to help Rico survive 2 attacks from the Ike turret, and I could have gotten just a bit more damage with Rico by bouncing his second attack, but I didn't want to waste any time by trying to aim it perfectly, so I felt really good about this dive. Rico deals 8,656 damage and takes 7. Starts out with his rocket fuel gadget to get more damage out of his first rocket. And because the turret is a stationary target, Brock gets way more value out of his incendiary star power than his rocket number 4. Also, I should mention that Brock does significantly better if he just ignores his super and just uses his attacks. He can deal 8,902 damage to the turret and takes 15th place. Now, Bo's star powers don't really matter because Snare Bear triggers after Bo dies anyway. Typically, I wouldn't let a brawler use any abilities after they die, but I made an exception for Bo's Tripwire gadget because it's very possible for Bo to land a super and then activate this gadget after he dies in a regular match. Bo can deal 9,968 damage and ties with Crow for 13th place. Crow's defense... Crow's defense booster gadget helps Crow get close enough that Crow can do a perfect super onto the turret. Now the reason I fired an attack at the start was so that Crow's extra toxic star power would reduce the damage from the turret. This takes a lot of practice to do perfectly, but Crow can take out 29% of the Ike turret's health if done right. Now I tried... In 11th place is El Primo, who uses his Asteroid Belt gadget for an additional 2,000 damage. Then you have his El Fuego star power for another 1,200 damage. With his super and 3 full attacks, El Primo is able to deal 10,368 damage, which is 30% of the by using her support from Beyond gadget far enough away that she could activate it twice. The Ike turret fires at each one of the shadows twice, even though they only survive one shot, which buys Terra a lot of time. Plus, she gets additional damage thanks to her super and Black Portal star power. In total, Terra is able to deal 11,572 damage in a single dive, and takes 8th place even though she was second to last in the last dive. I gave Nani a bit of an unfair advantage as well by letting her activate her super outside of the turret range, but I do think this is fair since her super has such a long range and this is a very likely scenario in an actual siege match. She also gets some additional damage from her return to sender gadget and her autofocus star power. It is tricky to get max damage using autofocus, but if you do everything right, Nani can deal 11,780 damage to the turret, wiping away 34% health and placing Nani in 7th out of all the players. Coming in 6th is Pam. Now Pam waits a while before throwing her super down and activates her pulse modulator gadget so she can survive. Thanks to her healing station being close to the enemy turret, her Mama Squeeze star power does a little bit of extra damage against it. Plus it helps tank for her and heal her so she can deal a massive 11,864 damage. This kind of dive requires